Welcome to Endurance, Noise, and Random Musings. I'm your host, Andy Noise. It is Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. I usually post on Instagram photos from back in the day. This one you're seeing is from 2010 track meet. Gosh, remember when we had track meets? We don't have much here in California anymore. Hopefully sports are coming back. In fact, it's interesting. One of my friends teaches in the current high school district, and they came back to school for a couple days last week after not being there, and now they're on spring break. So, oh well. So that was there. I want to wish happy birthday to Blake Haney. Speaking of Bakersfield track and field, he ran for Oregon Ducks, and he is now running for the Under Armour team. And it is his birthday. I really like the haircut he's sporting. In fact, when I first saw the photo, I didn't know who that was. He's looking like he's definitely gotten a lot older. He's definitely looks like a man, and he is going to be going for the Olympics this year. And I didn't know this. I went to school with his mom. In fact, me and her took driver's training classes together, and I didn't know this, but he has Canadian citizenship as well through his dad. So he's going to be going out for the Canadian team. When he was in high school, of course, he was a state champ, and he also competed in World Championships, the 1,500 meters in Russia, and he ran for the United States, but he's going to be going for the Canadian team. Wish him luck. Hope to see him. So that's pretty nice. Just some me working. I had a workout this morning. Did a 10-miler. Some of my poker stuff. I like this post that Molly Huddle did, and I reposted it. She says, "The grind. It's a big piece of improvement process. It's a commitment to the work. Most distance runners are rightly proud of it, but here's a reminder: if you need it from a fellow grinder extraordinaire, sometimes the grind can become your weakness. You plow through so many little problems that you suddenly have really stubborn, work-hardened problems. We can be so good at not letting anything get in our way, unless it's our own dang self trying to train through too much. Sometimes it feels like a step back to figure it out or rest, but cross-training, body work, and recovery are still inching you along to performance goal. It might not be what you planned, but it's making the kind of improvements you need in the moment. Happy to finally be smoothing out some of those bumps and she definitely has haven't heard too much from her. Of course, she's gearing up to try and make the track team because she was in the Olympic trials and didn't do so well. Look at that great form she has. And I am definitely a victim of this, just getting out there and grinding it. And if you follow me on my other videos, I do being boring in the morning. And this morning, yesterday I did 10 miles. I'm trying to get back to doing 100 miles a week. And yesterday I did 10 miles, and so I did 15 altogether. This morning, the first few miles were terrible. Then I felt pretty good, but I got about mile 7. As I said, when the workout's effective, when you start fading, and I was definitely fading. Went out there this evening, was pretty slow too, but I got my 30 miles in 2 days, and we shall see. I used to do 100-mile weeks from like 2015 to 2019. Then I've kind of been slacking off the past year or two and want to get back into them just because I feel better when I'm doing them. But I definitely got to be observant of what Molly said here about the grind. It's definitely the case. Then my poker stuff. I wanted to go here and let me pop onto, dang it, I'm going to find the things. I wanted to go through because I said the other day about C.J. Albertson, another great local Central star here in the United States. I mean, not here in the United States. Here in Central California, he ran high school. In fact, he was around just before the Blake Haney era, and he was gearing up to run the rim to rim to rim. He had a picture of himself and all the gear running on the treadmill, which I'll show you. And I was wondering how he did, and he wrote back on a comment. He says, he did it today. It was brutal. It was pretty brutal. I'm not comfortable with any sort of rocky terrain or steps, so pretty much every part of the run was difficult for me, and I couldn't just get into a rhythm and zone out. I fell a few times. At about 34 miles, my body was just done, and laid down at the bench at Phantom Ranch for a while. Then I slowly walked up K-Bab. My last 9 miles took me about 4 hours. Yikes. Yeah, that's tough. And overall time was 9:59. Time's good, 9:59. The fastest I ever did it. I did it twice. One time, the first time I went up there, we were just supposed to do the easy route north to south, but you got to get over to the south. I mean, you got to get over to the north side. And it was like they were going to charge us like $100, and it's a 6-hour van ride. And I was like, I'd rather just walk across to meet you guys on the other side. And so that's what I did. Walked across, met them there. It was beautiful. It's a really nice place to stay over there on the north side. This lodge that lodge that overlooks the canyon. And I stayed with my friends, and then we hiked back across the next day. So I did a rim to rim to rim, but really, took me 2 days. Then I went back the following year, and my friend who owns Soul to Soul Shoes, Scott Newton, he took 2 van loads, 9-passenger vans of friends and really good customers, and he brought me along to be a Sherpa. We decided there was 3 or 4 women who really wanted to do the rim to rim to rim, the whole 42, 45 miles. So we all packed into one van, and we left about 3 in the morning. And then some of the younger, faster guns, they left 3 or 4 hours after us. It's kind of weird. Like CJ said, he was starting at 4 in the morning. I don't really know why he was doing that. Perhaps he was doing it to avoid the mule teams, because you got to give those guys the right of way, so you're gonna have to stop. It's not gonna be hot there, and so he's not used to being a trail runner and trying to run with lights and going down those trails. Though I have to say, the trails at the Grand Canyon are very well maintained. When you first do it, going up that north side, man, the last 5 miles is a 5,000-foot climb, and it seems steep as heck. But you can turn around and come down the thing and just fly down it. You can really move because they're very well maintained trails. So he did the tough way. He went down K-Bab and then got on North K-Bab, went to top, and then went back down and came up South K-Bab. And the problem with going up South K-Bab is it's pretty steep. It's shorter, and there's not a lot of water or any water. Usually, like what we did is we went down South K-Bab, up North K-Bab, and then down North K-Bab, but we came up Bright Angel. It's a little longer, but it avoids some of the steepness, and there's lots of water every mile or two, which I really appreciate having. And you also get to hang out in Indian Gardens. So the year I did it, we went down, got the Phantom Ranch. Sun was coming up as we were heading down there. The hike from Phantom Ranch to the bottom of that big climb isn't bad. And we ended up getting to the north side at about 9 hours. Some of the guys who started behind us caught us, but then they kind of all fell apart. So I know how CJ feels, because as I was getting closer to Phantom Ranch, I kept expecting them to catch me because they almost caught us going up the hill. And then Scott, the older guy, he was in his 40s. He caught me, and I was like, where are the young kids? And he's like, oh, they blew up, went too hard. And so we ran into the Phantom Ranch, and he bought him supplies, and I took off. And my goal was to make it to the top before they caught us, and we did. So we went 9 hours from south to north and about 8 hours on the way back, and we had a little under 17 hours. Of course, the record is, I think, under 6 hours. So congratulations to CJ for trying. CJ is recently, he's got the he's 211 marathoner. He set the record on the 50K on the track. He did it at the Buchanan. And in fact, here's the picture of him training the other night, practicing with all of his gear on. Wearing all black is kind of crazy, but he is also, as it says in his bio, Clovis Community College coach, and just an all-around good kid. He ran for Arizona when he was there. So congratulations to CJ. So that's kind of some of the Instagram noise of the day. My YouTube channel, I'm glad. Thank you guys for all the likes and for the comments, and please subscribe. I had someone, I was doing an article talking about my issues with the Pfizer shot. I'm willing to take it, and if it keeps me from getting sick or getting other people sick, it's good. But the past 3 weeks, my sleep has been just crap. And it says, and this guy said, it makes sense. Had my first dose on Sunday, felt a little odd over the last 2 days, but overall not too bad. Just hope I feel like running on Sunday. And I can tell you, I had my second dose last Friday, and I feel okay. I don't feel great, but the problem is the sleep thing is really getting to be a drag, and I'd really like to get that out of the way. On the analytics, Barkley Marathons is leading the pack in the past 40 hours, 8 hours, even though it happened a week or two ago. And of course, an evergreen is always the Kilian Jordan thing, where I talked about how he stopped even before I predicted. I knew I was going to get the record, but he ended up stopping far earlier. So thank you guys for all the support on that. Then we'll flip over here to some Twitter stuff. Follow me on Twitter. I often write and retweet mostly stuff. And one of the things, of course, I talked about it the other night was the first meet at New Hayward Field is this weekend, and the fields are incredible. BYU, Colorado, Arkansas, and Iowa all sending teams. And of course, you're going to have the NCAA champs, Connor Mance, Courtney Wymont, Cole Hawker, Wes Kipto, and Edwin Kurgat are all entered. And if you go to my Twitter page, you can check out the documents for this, who's entries and stuff. In fact, I talked about it before. I had the good fortune of visiting my friend Tracy B in Eugene, Oregon a few years ago, and I got to see the old stadium before they tore it down. Been about a year and a half since they've had meets there, and it's an amazing facility. You can kind of see a picture there of it. It looks pretty impressive. So looking forward to seeing what goes on there. Of course, Let's Run, awesome, great site. They're saying breaking news from Jonathan Galt regarding the GOAT. Kenesey Bekele is the Olympic marathon dream for greatest distance runner in history. The man who ran 2:01:41. Is this his last marathon ever? And then he continued on with it, and it says that some details to be ironed out, but the Ethiopian Olympic marathon trials, but it appears that Kenesey will not be running. He's the triple Olympic champion and the second fastest marathoner all time. So yeah, they haven't picked their team. Of course, we picked our team on Leap Day, February 29th, over a year ago. So the Ethiopian team is often kind of crazy. Reposted some of my articles and videos flying through here. Eat more, race faster, training your gut for endurance. And I'll tell you, definitely people need to do that. I see so many people having issues, so might check that out. I may do a full video on that in the future. And then it says here, Let's Run says, when, where, and perhaps most importantly, why are the Ethiopian Olympic Marathon trials happening? We'll break it all down here. And it turns out, it says, sorry about that. It says, details on the Ethiopian Olympic Marathon trials are here. So far, all this has happened. Ethiopian Federation puts up its Olympic hopefuls in hotels in January for an 8-month training camp with 1 month's notice. Announces trials will be April 4th in Ethiopia. Switches trials to May 2nd in Geneva. Hey, May 2nd is my birthday. So, but it's still plenty of time that they can recover and run the Olympics. So, and I was watching like the Dubai marathons, some of the old races on YouTube, and it's unbelievable. They have 40 or 50 Ethiopian guys all running like under 2:10, where I think like 25 Americans have broken 2:10. So pretty impressive to watch. So that is all on my endurance Twitter page that I do. And then, of course, the training day for myself. Let's see here. My goal this morning was to get out there and do 10 miles. And I got 10.03. It was slow. I am now just walking. With the beta blockers and the other drugs I'm taking, I just can't run. My heart rate just won't go above 110, 120. So I kind of just doing the whole walking thing. Felt pretty tired. And then this evening I went out and did 2 times 20 minutes in this whole 90-minute run. So it's kind of hidden, buried in the data there. Finish up here with the Fitbit. I've got 18 days in a row of the 20,000 steps mileage that Fitbit's got me at. I put down that I want 14.4 because that's 100-mile weeks. And, of course, I only go by my Strava mileage, which is about 30 miles for today. Resting heart rate, as you can tell, is still elevated and has been since you can go here and you can see, back here when I got the shot and boom, I got the Pfizer shot and my resting heart rate's been elevated. Of course, that's probably a function of not sleeping. Though I used to sleep before my congestive heart failure that I went to the hospital for. I slept only 4 or 5 hours a night. Since then, I got on medication. I've been sleeping 6-7 hours a night and actually been getting scores in the 80s, so it's kind of confusing. So last night, 3:44, which is terrible. I went to bed at 10:30 and woke up at almost like 12:45, was up for a couple hours, passed out for an hour, 4 a.m. to 5 a.m., and then this afternoon I actually napped for an hour. But like I was saying before, that's a sleep score. Thinks it's, if you look at my sleep over the past year, though, like last year, 5 hours, 43 minutes, and this year, 6:02. And if you look at the 3-month average, 6 hours. So you can definitely see a decline. So I'm just a study of one. And I would love if you've had the Pfizer vaccine or any vaccines, and you're also an athlete training, I'd love for you to leave a comment or a voicemail or anything, and tell me what's going on with you. What have you noticed? What's different? I mean, I'm all for getting it. I got a degree in science physiology from UC San Diego, so I believe in the science. I have a degree in sports economics, so I understand statistics. But having both those things, it still is kind of hard to deal with. It's just kind of a crazy time here for us. And then working out, you can see it's had 3 hours and 12 minutes in the morning, hour and 27 of fat burning, and 21 minutes of cardio. I just can't get my heart rate up. So you can see there it just says, the average heart rate is 106. And then this afternoon I did 90 minutes, and I was trying to push it at times, and just the heart rate just won't go up with this thing. 48 ounces of swim. I'm gonna actually should be 72 because I just filled up. I'm gonna try and drink that before I go to bed. And lastly, I thought I'd leave you with, if you're not on Clubhouse, not really sure. It seems with the endurance, there's not a whole lot going on in there. These kind of things. But there's Runner's Quarter, and they've been doing a few little things, and hopefully it'll get bigger. It's funny that I actually just heard of a new site called Locker Room. I haven't been invited on it, but that's more sports oriented. So who knows? Maybe I will check that out. So that's news and noise and random musings. And please hit subscribe. And thank you guys a lot. And as I said, always stay healthy, be boring.